Today, we're looking at something that has been of long interest to me, and that's business. Not only because I'm a business ethics professor, but because for the last 20 years of my career, I focused on the idea of business and peace, as has our speaker today, Per Saxegaard. Per Saxegaard is a great and dear friend. We have worked together on many occasions over the years. And one of the things that I really like in talking to Per and with Per is he's a real businessman. He's not an academic. He's not an ethics professor, but he has one of the strongest views of business ethics of any business person that I've ever heard. And he specifically ties that to peace. And if you're going to be talking about overcoming cultural divides and differences, you're in the discussion of what is creating peace and putting cultural divides and differences together. Per is an investment banker. He's also an active business person and investor, and the founding partner of Norden Real Capital Group in Oslo, Norway. I came to know him because he's the founder and executive chairman of the Business for Peace Foundation in Oslo. And as you are going to hear, he has developed or coined a term called business worthy that I think is a really powerful tool for us to be thinking about how business can successfully operate and to provide meaning in our work. And in doing so, I think that we will find an ability to overcome some of those cultural divides and differences that the world is seeing these days. So with that, welcome, Per. I'm glad to have you. We've had so many conversations, but I think it's the first time we've actually recorded them. So
thank you so much, Tim, and thank you so much for having me.
Sure.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Sure, thank you. So let's start off with the first question, a real basic one. What led you to focus on business and peace in the first place and the formation of the Business for Peace Foundation?
That's really a long journey of various kind of experiences and reflections. Basically coming out of a traditional financial-oriented business view towards the concept that you mentioned that we have developed, which is called being business worthy, which really gives some insights to, I think, both on a personal individual level, how do you get a good life and be happy if you like, and on the business level, how do you make smart strategy and smart development of your business, and at the same time in a way that makes business force for good. So these three levels simultaneously gave me over time an understanding that not all financial return or profit, if you like, are created equal. So it's a big difference there. And when I started out, took my MBAs in the mid-80s, making money was a key focus. I even organized in the sort of group I was heading up a seminar by the quite strong title, How to Become Rich. And I can tell you, the room was so packed with people. and I think it was a symbol of the timing. It was about to earn as much money as quickly as possible. And that followed me for a number of years and ventured me into finance and investment banking, as you mentioned. And I did make a lot of money, but I also came to experience the tunnel vision of being that focused, which I think led to eventually my divorce, which broke down my marriage and some personal reflections coming out of that. And it struck me that the relationship between making money and be happy or have well-being is not a curve that goes like this. It's a curve like goes like this. So and it's reflecting on this and looking into the matter. It seems that on a quite modest level of money, the marginal utility of making another dollar is not growing that much. And if you come far along the curve, it might even go down, and you get the tunnel vision problem. So in a way, making money is not that good a deal alone. And further reflection on this, I found that there's another curve that goes in the opposite direction, up, up, always up. And that's not making money, but that's making a difference to other people. So that's sort of being driving with a higher purpose, if you like. And the idea of being business worthy is to get those two curves to go together. So you can have a higher purpose, make a difference, and still make money. So it's that was sort of some of the insights, because reflecting on it, purpose is really what nourishes meaning. And we all, everybody would like to feel that what we do is meaningful. Who would like to work with something which is not meaningful? So I came to the conclusion that money can motivate, but no amount can really inspire. Inspiration comes from inside. And to be inspired, you need a bigger idea, a bigger ideal. You need to be part of something which is bigger than yourself, bigger than your product, if you like. So that's where purpose comes in. And I think on the personal level, this has very much to do with what should be really the identity of being in business. Should it only be about making money? I mean, as a professor, you have a calling for learning other people and educating other people. As a doctor, you have a calling. Even as a priest, you have a calling, obviously. But as a business person, just making money doesn't really sound to me on a personal level to be enough. And so thinking on this from a purely business point of view, I think this resonates quite well, because most of us find purpose in work outside work, whether that's in your church or in other aspects. But if we could put it into work, it can be a tremendous motivator, because we all have more energy if we feel that what we are part of is bigger than ourselves, and we are sort of getting meaning in what we do. So this obviously have relevance to leadership and to the culture that a business have. And I think that culture is probably the one competitive differentiator that over time really makes sense, because technology can be copied overnight and can last only so much, but it's only human beings that create value. It's only human being that can solve problems. So the culture you have and the meaning you have by going to work, I think is underestimated in that context. Now then comes technology, which I have worked a lot on, and the accelerating speed of change and transformation that technology leads to, getting us more and more interconnected, more and more interdependent, across borders, across societies. And it really tells us that business cannot live in a vacuum outside what's happening. It has to be in it. We now see that technology also led us to huge levels of polarizing situations that you see a lot in the US, but also other places in the world, which really underlines even more that the traditional narrow-minded view of financial value creation might not be that relevant in the future. So I think this necessitates a broader view of in business thinking. You need to take account of your ecosystem, your stakeholder, i.e. your society around. And I think we'll see gradually that societal challenges are the same as business challenges. There is no trade-off between social progress and profitability. It's in fact the very opposite. It's by solving them you have the cradle of innovation, because over time to create value you must solve problems. If you don't solve a problem, you're basically stealing.